All right, so let me paint you guys a picture. Imagine you're a 74-year-old man and you have just been ripped out of your car by a drunken, angry individual. They start wailing on you and they threaten to kill you. What are you going to do? But first, as always, down below is, of course, links for merch. Get your merch. Spring's coming up, summer's coming up, so grab all the t-shirts you can. We also have Patreon, locals. You can become a YouTube member right here, at the very least, and it's absolutely free. Just like, subscribe, leave a comment. That's all you need to do. It really helps with the algorithm. It really helps this channel grow. All right, now what are we talking about? We're talking about a jury has found a Litchfield lawyer guilty of manslaughter from back in 2021. So it's a few years ago. And this just happened on Friday. I don't know if you've heard of it or not, but pulled an article down, we're reading through it, and I wanted to bring you the information because you need to see how self-defense really works in the state of Connecticut. All right, so this is out of Torrington. And, of course, the link for this article and a few others will be down in the description, along with links to that merch store. All right, so on Friday, a jury found a 78-year-old attorney, Robert Fisher Jr., guilty of manslaughter in a fatal shooting outside of his law office. That happened 4 years ago. I had to pull down the original article. I wanted to read through it, see what they said. It really didn't offer much information. So the most up-to-date information that we have is, of course, the articles that have been written today. So, all right, so he is waiting on sentencing right now. He was found guilty of manslaughter. He was originally out on a $50,000 bond, and the judge upped it to $150,000. The gentleman in question did get detained for a little while, but then was able to post bail, so he's out waiting on sentencing. The prosecution argued that the attorney had a duty to retreat. And he's right. In Connecticut, you have a duty to retreat from everywhere but your home. We have castle doctrine. And the new proposed law would add places of worship, churches, synagogues, mosques, and such, to the castle doctrine. You don't need to basically run from a house of worship. It's proposed. It's not passed yet. All right? But their argument is he had a duty to retreat. Yes, he does. Unless you are like backed into a corner, there's no other way to go, things like that. The prosecution also said he could have retreated without injury. He had a duty to do that. He brandished a weapon when all he had was a fat lip. It was all about anger and pride, his desire for payback, and refusing to be a victim. How dare this little man assault him in his own parking lot? So let's break that one down. Desire for payback and refusing to be a victim. I don't think any of us need to be victims. If you're attacked and you believe that you're going to have great bodily harm or death come upon you, you fight back any way you can, including using deadly force. So prosecution is basically, hey, this guy should have just, taken an ass whooping, basically. Remember, he's a 74-year-old man at the time. Today he's 78. 74, and you're supposed to just take it. The defense countered that Fisher was not able to retreat to his car due to a variety of medical ailments. This was also substantiated by his doctor in court. The defense also said that Fisher feared for his life because he was told he was about to die, and he literally believed it. Okay, well, if somebody grabs you and starts wailing on you and tells you they're going to kill you, I'd take their word for it. I wouldn't be like, they're just joshing. They're just kidding. No, you tell me you're going to kill me, I believe you're going to kill me. Thus, I will react in turn. He could not drive away. He couldn't close the car door. Mr. Bromley was right there. Retreat, by state statute, must be to complete safety. And since he had nowhere to go, he fought back. He was basically backed into a corner. The defense also reminded the jury of evidence he presented that painted a fluid scene. First, of Fisher being pulled from the Audi as he began to exit it. So he was getting out of his car and got attacked. They never got separated. Bromley was angry, aggressive, out of control, and had a blood alcohol level of 0.11. Remember, the legal limit is 0.08, which this could have been fueling his aggression and his anger. He was not in right mind, I would assume. I mean, he's basically, he had liquid courage in him and he was going off. The defense also said a person is justified in using reasonable force to defend himself or herself from what they believe to be imminent physical force. He asked jurors to consider what a reasonable person in these circumstances described would have the same beliefs as Fisher did, and to know that self-defense is defensive and not retaliatory. Someone says, I'm going to kill you, you fight back. That's not you seeking revenge, that's you defending yourself. All right, so the defense did put Fisher on the stand for his own defense. And he said, and I quote, I started to open the door. He grabbed the door or the window and pulled it open all the way. He reached in and punched me in the side of my face on the left side of my jaw. He yelled, you are, swear word, and another swear word. They bleeped it out. I have no idea what he says. And you've ruined my life. I am going to kill you. He then spit in his face. Okay, I'm going to take his word at that point. Fisher goes on to say, I was in fear. He was so impossibly angry. His face was contorted with rage. I have never seen anything like it. I undid my seatbelt and kicked him so I could be further away. I got out of my car to face him. He charged at me in the chest, and he was shouting, I am going to kill you. All right, now some of you may be asking, what did Mr. Fisher use? Well, that's a really good question. And I've got the exact, I swear to God, it's the exact same gun he used. It's right here. It is a small Ruger LC9. Completely empty as usual. Okay. Now, by the photos that I could see, he had something similar to this. This is a flashlight. It's described as a laser. So, he pulled this out of his pocket, took it out of the holster, aimed, and engaged. That's what you're supposed to do. I have no idea how you're supposed to shoot a gun through your holster. It makes literally no sense, since any decent holster is going to cover the trigger guard and the trigger, which means you can't get your finger in there to discharge it. So yes, no matter what, you're going to have to pull it from the holster to engage. This goes to show you that in an act of self-defense, the state is going to go after you. You have a duty to retreat, except if you're backed into a corner, a reasonable person would believe that you couldn't make it out of there. Basically, you can't run through a hail of bullets. If the only way out of wherever you are is like past the gunman, you engage. You can defend yourself. They don't care. They charged him with manslaughter, and the jury's like, he's guilty of manslaughter. 74 years old with ailments, right? Heart condition. I don't know what it was. They didn't specify. But he's got medical conditions. So he can't just up and beat feet and run. He can't drive away in his car because this guy's grabbed him, hitting him while he's sitting in his car. You could argue, okay, well, maybe he should have just put it in drive and floored it. But if he's in a parking spot, depending on how he's facing, he might not be able to go anywhere. All right? If the vehicle was already off and he was in the process of getting out of it. Now, while this guy's wailing on you, you've got to try to get your key back in the ignition to start it, to then put it in gear and go. It makes no sense. Now, I would not want to be in a vehicle buckled in, because now you're just stuck in there and you're just basically in your own coffin while this person wails on you. So him unbuckling and then pushing the threat away and getting out does make sense. You're trying to build distance, but now you're not in a position to start running. How many of you out there can go run right now? You just drop everything you're doing, go outside and go run. We'll be generous. You go run a quarter of a mile. How many people can go do that? Not many. Most people do not do cardio, which means you're at risk of having a heart attack. That being said, at 74, no way. Not happening. So he did his only recourse. He reached into his pocket, he grabbed his firearm, pulling it out of the holster so he could actually shoot the gun, took aim, and shot the aggressor in the face, hitting the switch, shutting off everything. You're not trying to shoot to wound. You're not doing warning shots. It goes from 0 to you're dead. Now, when I have training classes and we discuss this particular subject, I always tell people, if you're ever placed in a position to where you've consciously decided that your firearm is getting unleashed, it is coming out of the holster and you are engaging, that means you've already made a decision that that person in the situation you're in warrants that person getting shot with deadly force. Otherwise, you shouldn't be pulling your gun. You don't pull a gun to threaten. You don't pull the gun to brandish and try and scare the person. When that gun comes out, you're engaging, and you're engaging for keeps. That's it. It's go or no go. All right, there's no gray area. There's like, well, maybe we're just going to shoot him in the leg.
De-escalate. So instead of anybody coming at you and the first thing you do is shoot to kill, you shoot him in the leg.
No, you're not doing any of that. They're close enough, and you can get a good bead right on the light switch, right in the dome. Take it. If they're a little further away because you're able to build some of that distance, the head is a really small object to hit, especially when you're trying to hit something the size of a credit card. At that point, we train people to aim for a big target, center mass. There's lots of things in there that'll help shut the threat off, right? Your heart, your lungs, things like that. So you just need to put enough acetylcholine in the thing that you need to just go away. I'm not saying what this gentleman did was right or wrong. I'm just saying I can see how that type of, person at that age being wailed on by a 39-year-old who's probably not super out of shape, but he's sure as hell ain't a frail old man. I'm sure as an old man, you're scared. How would you feel if somebody ripped your door open and started beating on you, threatening to kill you? We all know. It says he's a lawyer. The gentleman that was killed said that you ruined my life and now I'm going to kill you. You take them at their word. You don't just No. You've told me that you're going to do this to me. I believe you're going to do this to me. Well, you brought fists to a gunfight, basically. So, yeah. There you go. How many times have you seen on the news an older person is sucker punched right in the head and they go down and they die? Especially when they're doing this stupid knockout game. Happens all the time. So as an older gentleman, I know myself, not taking any chances, not trying to go tit for tat. I'm not going to be like, all right, let's duke this out. If I don't know how to fight, if I don't know any Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I don't know anything about boxing, but I do have the greatest equalizer of all, a firearm, that is what I'm going to use, and I'm going to engage. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Did the jury serve justice, or is this just another abuse of the system against a lawful gun owner defending their own lives? Me personally, I think it's a total injustice. This person, it should have just been cleared. Obviously, it is self-defense through and through. He was scared for his life. It was told to him that he was going to die. I don't know how much clearer you get than that. But again, you're in Connecticut where you have a duty to retreat no matter what. I love it. I love the fact that the party that's the aggressor, the party that is trying to do you harm, at this point, they have all the power. You have no choice but to run. And I'm sorry, but if you're not in shape and you're not able to do that, I guess you're just SOL, because they're going to catch up to you and then they're going to kill you. And then everybody wonders, well, why didn't they fight back? Well, because you're going to go to jail for the rest of your life anyways. It's insane. This state is absolutely insane. It doesn't matter where you are or what you're doing. If somebody threatens your life, you have a God-given right to defend yourself by any means necessary. All right, that's all I have for you guys today. Let me know down in the comments, do you think this was a good thing from the jury or a bad thing? I know you're all going to say it's bad, but let me know what you think nonetheless. All right, don't forget, like the video, share it with all your friends, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed, toggle that notification bell, and I'll see all of you in the next video.